What's up, everybody? Sorry for the delay. We had awesome Facebook issues yet again. They like to mess everything up on a weekly basis. Yeah, it's not your fault. It's the only thing tonight I'm going to give you credit for and say is not your fault.
I'm going to go with that.
We're going to knock that out in the first 30 seconds. That was not Keith's fault.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't Biz's fault. But I kind of want to mess with Biz. Like, Biz is kind of dragging ass over there today.
I think we put some of that towards him and take some off of me.
All right, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. We'll share a little bit of the load.
All right.
All right, everybody. So this week, we're sitting down with a really good friend of mine that I haven't seen in a while. So, I'm actually really excited about this because he's really hard to get out these days with his busy life. And, when he can step away from his tour with Florida Georgia Line.
Oh, my God.
It's really hard for him to step away every now and then. But,
Fat Georgia Line.
But today we have my good friend Keith Powers on the show. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, bro. So this show is not going to be real structured. I'm going to go ahead and say that and just get that out of the way. So if you guys are planning on this to be like one of the more normal shows, I got news for you. Tonight's not going to be a normal show. Tonight's going to be a little more off the chain. Probably a little more left field. We might get booted a time or two. Who knows? Anything's possible tonight.
That could happen?
It could happen. It's only happened a few times. What's up, Larry Adams? It's not happened a lot. But it does happen. And it happens for the weirdest shit.
Like for what? Did you say the wrong thing?
Yeah, so I had a guy on here that's really well known, former NFL player. We talked, he said all kinds of shit on my show. We were cussing up a storm. We've got all the explicit settings set, so we don't get in trouble necessarily for that.
Okay.
But
so Biz doesn't have to hit a button every time?
No button. We don't have to. Yeah, we just get a roll. So, that happens, but he went on the podcast. There's another podcast normally on Tuesdays. It's after mine, Cigar Talk Live.
Okay.
Here at Industrial.
Okay, cool.
And he went on there directly after mine. They got straight up booted. The show disappeared for over a week. It was just gone. It never happened. And it was all because they asked him if he was a shit talker when he played in college or the NFL.
Yeah.
And he said,
don't all those guys do that?
Right. But he said, no, not really. But there was this one dude that went, because he was a Longhorn. There was a dude at Texas Tech that spit in his face.
Uh-oh.
And
he spit in the dude's face.
Yeah. And their beef continued. He ends up getting to play across from him in the Super Bowl. And he owns him that day. Owned him all day long. And he called the dude trash. All he did was call him trash, but multiple times. So if I call you trash, we might get booted. So
you better not. My mom's watching.
I'm not going to say anything about Florida Georgia Line being trash. So maybe you should start off before you tell everybody about yourself, why you're such a Florida Georgia Line fan.
Oh my God, you got to quit that, man. At some point, we're going to put that on the calendar and retire that. You don't talk about you being Eric Church. I see that you don't bring that up.
We can do it.
Why don't you tell them how that got started, though? I think it's probably close to 10 years ago.
Man, yeah, it's gotta be around 10 years ago. But yeah, so this guy, he's such a fan of Florida Georgia Line that he bedazzled a pair of jeans.
Not for me.
He likes wearing those
Miss Me
country
jeans.
Urban jeans. Have the pockets.
Off tops, this shit is going to be good.
I'm telling you, Biz.
Y'all bedazzled and oh my God.
You thought we were just talking crap.
No, I thought y'all was talking this is going to be
He
good.
thought while we were waiting for this to go live that it was getting out of hand, but no.
I felt like we were giving away too many spoiler alerts and we are gonna ruin all the stuff that we could throw out there. But as the more you talk, the more angry I get. I feel like I got so much to say.
We're just gonna be able to keep rolling the whole time.
Do you have a couch so we can just lay down and just kind of lay it all out there?
Yeah.
I think the deal is when we met 10 years ago, different time of life, and I was probably about 60 pounds lighter. So maybe a little thinner me, maybe resemble. I don't even know their names.
Bart Simpson and the blonde dude on Florida Georgia.
You don't even know what the blonde dude's name is.
No, because I don't listen to that. But if the blonde dude, I think his name's Tyler, because I had to look it up to like post gifs on your like feed and stuff
every time.
And
you'd always do it when I was at my lowest. Then you would post something like that.
If the blonde dude and Bart Simpson had a baby, it's fucking Keith Powers.
Well, that's because I got a 5 head. You know, I got this big monster head, no hair anymore. But yes,
I put it on your car because I knew how much you disliked them. So at a hunt we were on. The day before, like we're all getting hammered this night, and the next morning we got to get up early, have a morning hunt, and then we got to drive home like 7 hours.
Yeah,
and he's got a truck full of dudes. And
customers, thank you.
They were customers, but they were all guys.
Yeah.
And I shoe polished his whole truck like.
What?
Honk for Florida Georgia Line. I love FGL.
Oh, yeah.
And these guys had to drive 7 hours home or until they got
we went all the way back home.
Until they got out of these like country bumpkin towns where they could actually like wash the window off.
Not washing them. Let's just go. We got a lot of honks, man. People get out of your way. I mean, they think you're somebody, but yeah, we're out. It was the hog hunt, and we did the night hog hunt. And if you've never done that,
fishing,
freaking great experience. We go out with the AR-10s. I didn't even know they made that, and we go out and we do that little hunt, and then
night vision,
come back pitch dark, and come back to my truck with FGL, honk if you love FGL, and I'm just like, you sorry son of a gun. And but you know, he won't talk about at that time he was rocking the Eric Church look. Okay, I'm talking about,
man, I had the Ray-Bans.
Ray-Bans, bangs. I mean, a little bit longer hair.
Yeah, I did. I had longer, shaggy hair.
As producer, I really need photos of all this.
I got you.
He'll get that.
So I had Ray-Bans on. I just had the short goatee. I had shaggy hair.
He was rocking.
And we walk into this Mexican restaurant in like Port A. And this son of a bitch over here goes to the like manager while we're like getting seated, ordering drink stuff. He's like, do you know who that is over there? And she's like looking at him like she barely speaks English. And she is looking at him like he's from another planet. She's like, no, sir. And she goes, I'll go get my manager, though. So she goes and gets the manager. And this guy over here is like, you're in the, like, greatness of royalty right now. Like, do you know that is, like, Eric Church over there? You should ask him, like, if he can sign a picture for you. You got pictures of other famous people in here.
I'm trying to make it happen.
And, man, they swarm me when I come out. Like, I went to the bathroom, like, washed my hands because we've been, like, fishing all day. And I come out, and they're, like, swarming me, like, Mr. Church, can we get like an autograph or can we take a picture with you? And I'm like, this guy.
I did not deserve to have my truck.
He got me solid, and like, they're like, well, if you'll just sign a picture, I mean, we can comp this whole meal. And all the guys are looking at me like, yeah, sign the picture.
I'm like, hey, get up and sing, dude. Sing for
me. You want me to sing a song too?
Oh man, it was so bad.
Do you still have those boots?
Oh no, those are dead.
Forget the picture of him looking like Eric Church. You need to see these boots.
Oh, man.
You forgot about the boots.
No, I already forgot. But my little brother roasted me way better than any of y'all did. And I'll tell the story. I think I've told this story on here, but maybe not.
It's worth telling.
All right. So speaking of plumber that never gets dirty,
whatever.
I have a plumber that I use at my work, and I show up in Midland, Odessa, and we literally have broken sewer pipes all over this like 36 building property. Like the news is there. Like shit is literally coming out of the ground, running down the streets. Like it's bad. Like it is horrific. And I get out there, and my master plumber is wearing these like really nice, like, but fancy cowboy boots. And I'm like, and then his workers are all there and they're in work boots. And I'm like, that's really messed up, man. Like you're out here literally shoveling shit and fixing broken sewer pipes, and you're wearing nicer boots than I'm wearing. Like I've got work boots on because like I knew what I was walking into. And he laughed it off and whatnot. Well, apparently he talked to my wife a little while later and found out what my shoe size was. So for Christmas that year, he sent me a pair of these boots. Now, Biz.
What were they? What brand?
I don't even know what brand they were. All I can tell you, I remember.
I think they came from the women's section. And
No, I remember this because they told me when I looked them up, 2 women left Reebok and started these boots. And like because of like the soles and gel pad, whatever, like making them more comfortable to wear boots. These boots, man, they were light tan. They had white and black little cutouts all across the toe, and they had like a what do you call that? Like they had a cross, like a gothic cross on them, like an afflicted, like affliction.
See his look on his face?
Yeah. On the like.
That's the look I had on my face.
So,
he's making fun of my jeans.
I was like, fuck it, I'll rock these. Like, whatever, man, I'll rock them. Well, then I go out around these true rednecks, and they're all like, check out my ostrich, check out my kangaroo and my alligator. And they're like,
kangaroo.
They're like, your boots, man. Blah,
You
blah,
showed
blah.
with some damn Reebok boots on.
Yeah, man. They gave me a ton of shit, but none as good as. So I had already taken all that abuse for like years. Like I liked the boots, and they were so damn comfortable. Like I even had them resold. Like I kept them until they were. I wore them that much. Like they were so comfortable.
So there's a lot of people around this area that have good stories of you and your boots.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
No. This dude walked in one time.
Those boots have stories, man.
Can you identify him, sir? Yeah, it was the guy with the gothic boots on.
So those boots. So my little brother had moved to California, and it was like my first time.
They're good there.
My first time going to visit him. Yeah, right. You'd think, right? These should have been gold there, right? Well, I hadn't seen my brother in like 2-3 years. Man, my brother was like so straight-laced when he left here. And I show up. He has skinny jeans on, some weird-ass shoes. He's got like a pick comb in his pocket.
What?
He's got this like medium shirt on. He's like, and he has a beard like his has a birthday. Like his beard at that time was like down to here, like Cody Jinks style.
Oh, wow.
And then he had long ass hair that was as long as his beard. And I'd never seen my brother without like hair longer than this. Like,
yeah.
I was like, yo, who are you? Like,
Johnny Depp
I
refugee.
moved to the mountains. And I'm like, yeah, bro. Yeah, you moved to the mountains. And I was like, and dude, what is up with these jeans, man? Did your girlfriend forget her jeans at your apartment and you grabbed them by mistake?
You tell your brother he gonna catch a yeast infection wearing jeans
dude,
like that?
yeah, man. I mean, I was busting on him like we're doing right now. Like I was giving him the business, like hardcore. And he literally pauses. He looks down at my boots and he goes, "Did Chris Angel have a yard sale?" And I was like,
I had to laugh before you even said it. I knew he was gonna kill you.
I was like, damn, did Chris Angel have a yard sale?
That's a good one. I mean, that's fitting.
Ah.
That would be he would be a candidate for those kind of boots. But, you know, that's those boots, man, that was probably the best part of the whole story was just, we're already immediately, we meet and just, I think we rode together and we didn't really know each other that well and kind of quiet. But man, it's
like the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's like one beer in. The next thing you know, we're just like we've known each other for 20 years and making fun of each other. But man, when you changed and you came out in those boots, and I was like, what in the hell is he wearing? I was like, I thought we could be cool and hang out, but I'm like, I don't know.
Your bro card got automatically revoked.
I don't know. Did you wear it? Were they skinny jeans you had on? Were they so tight? Like, you know how the guys that, you can't hardly get the jeans over the boots?
No.
Man, I'm going to tell on myself. I didn't purposely buy skinny jeans, but I don't know what jeans you guys are wearing these days. But Amanda was like telling me forever, you need to try these 7 for Mankind jeans. And I'm like,
I wear those.
I'm like, I'm not wearing those. And I just kind of fought it.
But you bought the slim ones.
Oh, hang on. So she goes, I'm going to buy you a pair of them. And she gets on some website. I don't want to get it booted, but she gets on this website. She loves to shop. So she goes on and she finds a pair of these 7 for All Mankind, I think. And so she buys me these, and I'm like, I'm not wearing $200 blue jeans. And she goes, no, I got them on this deal. They were only like whatever, however much. And she goes, I think you're gonna like them. And man, I put them on, and I'm like, I can't really do karate kicks, but if I could, these would be the jeans I would do them in.
What's so special about them?
They're stretched jeans. I mean, they're like
They got that. What do you call that?
Spandex.
No, yeah, kinda. Yeah.
yeah,
but like
they're yoga pants for
lyric
guys,
or-
but they're bigger. You know, they wear like a regular jean. And as a matter of fact, I have a pair on tonight. So I put them on, and she's like, I told you would like those. And so, man, next thing you know, it's a complete closet change. And I've got all these jeans, and then somebody says, well, man, you ought to try the Perfect jean. You know, they're like the similar style, you know, whatever. So
For somebody that's not on social media hardly at all, like this is so funny. You're like a billboard for like the ads that pop up on social media.
Yeah, I'm like, what's that? You know, you got me. You know?
Got me. Is that going to get me in my biker gang?
I ordered a pair from them, and they come in, and I'm like wearing them with like a tennis shoe or whatever, you know. And I'm like, man, these are all right. Well, I go to wear them with my boots, and I'm walking out of the house, and I'm like, lay right down, look down, I'm like, oh my God, they're so tight around my boot, and I'm like, God, I just need to get through this day, and like nobody's seen me.
You
that
tucked them in, didn't you?
No,
you went like full like beat neck, didn't you?
But I was like, I'm that guy. I did it, but I quickly got away from those and found they have a better cut that fits me. So
they have a boot cut. I'm already online looking at it right now.
See, he's like me. You know, I'm all about comfort. I'm at that age now. I'm like, if it's uncomfortable, I don't want it in my life.
Exactly.
You know, so I'm all about those jeans. So now she gives me all kinds of crap about them. So Amanda, I know you're listening. So there you go. I gave you a plug on your.
Yeah. I love
your
that
wife, I
Amanda's
appreciate
on
it.
here.
I'm trying to find me some right now.
If Sarah should be going to dinner real soon, so she probably won't be on here live, but like that would be awesome. The two of them, I mean, that would really probably get this like booted for sure with all four of us on here.
Oh my gosh.
What's up, Chase, man? How are you doing?
So yeah, Biz, you got to get a pair, try them out, and see what you think.
I'm already on.
I'm telling you, it's a game changer.
$200 for some jeans, boy.
I'm telling you. I don't know that all of them are that much.
Talk to your boy AJ. They get that stuff sometimes too.
Oh, say less. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot.
Yeah.
We got a guy.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
I got you, homie.
Well, so anyways, we don't want to talk about jeans the whole time, but
Yeah, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you actually do?
I was just about to say, don't you do something for a living?
Yeah. I
Besides
mean,
dog Garrett out.
you couldn't tell because like he's this clean all the time, even though he's a like master plumber. But like, I don't know how. Like, I mean, I've never seen a plumber that stays this clean all the
it's
time.
not easy.
That means he's mastered the art of delegation.
It's not easy. Yeah. So my background is really pretty simple. I got into the trade right out of high school, just from, buddies that knew somebody that got them hired on, and we all went to work for a contractor here in Dallas. And, I think at the time, I'm dating myself, which I'm fine with, but this was 93.
Yeah.
And what's minimum wage in 93? Like $4 something an hour. And
Oh no, I was still in junior high, you old ass.
That's fine. Just listen, I'll teach you something. Yeah, so whatever, they were like, making, $6 an hour, it's like, we're like, what? Hang on a second. That's pretty good money. And they're like, just lie and tell me you got experience. They'll give you $6.50. And I'm like, I'm not going to lie. I don't want to look like an idiot. I'm going to do that on my own. I don't need to lie and take them.
I'm the poster child for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's literally how it started in July of 93. And this July will be my 30th year in the trade. And so just, got into it. And then, within that first week, I'm like, this is a real job. I mean, these are men making a living here. And this is, something, because I had no idea what I was going to do.
Yeah.
School wasn't it. I figured that out a long time ago that school wasn't going to be my thing. So, I got into that and quickly took on all the responsibilities of, I'm going to make it on my own. I'm not, going to live at home. I'm going to go out and get my own place. And then it became, I don't think that door's open to go back. So I'm going to have to figure this out. And then the next thing I know, I'm in it. I did something where the owners of the, said, hey, we're going to send you to apprenticeship school. And I'm like, oh, what school? And so I went to apprenticeship school and would spend one night a week going to class and, taking that knowledge and testing the guys that I worked with, and just started picking things up. And then the next thing you know, like, okay, what's the next step? They're like, well, you need to get your plumbing license. I'm like, well, what does that take? And so got my plumbing license, and just started getting all kinds of opportunities to start doing some jobs. And it was all commercial plumbing, heavy mechanical stuff. And, I didn't really ever do residential plumbing or, in multifamily or anything like that. It was all just, at Texas Instruments or doing specialty projects, and a lot of different piping jobs. And they're big mechanical contractors, so we got exposed.
He was naturally talented at handling pipe.
Whatever. Just got exposed to a lot of opportunities there, and right at the we're gonna get booted. Right at the 10-year mark, it was just at the point where I started seeing some guys that I was working with in the field getting an opportunity to advance.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around and go, I know I don't want to be doing this when I'm 50.
Yeah.
So what do I need to do? And so I was actually working in Wichita Falls, and my wife at the time, she said, hey, there's a job for an inspector in the city of Dallas. Why don't you try that? Because I was traveling a little bit. That wasn't fitting the lifestyle at home, not around the kids. And I'm like, that's for like the old dudes. Now I'm 28, 10 years in. And I said, well, I'm going to just go on the interview and see what happens. So next thing you know, I'm a City of Dallas plumbing inspector. Passed my test, and got on with the
God, I'd love to have you inspecting our properties.
Most fair guy you ever come across.
I'll
man.
bet. Here's the book.
Yeah, learned a lot and forced me to learn a lot. Right? I mean, because they're like, no, you have to be the guy. You have to know. You can't. You don't have to know all the answers, but you need to
be able to find it for sure.
Yeah. So that was a huge challenge, and it was really a time when I was like, man, did I miss out on going to school? Should I have done, what else could I have done?
What everybody feels like at 28, like all these kids think they have it all figured out at college or right when they get out. And then you realize at 27, 28, and you're like, shit, I don't have anything figured out.
Yeah. I knew it was going to be plumbing, whatever it was. Cause I didn't have any other real talents to go out there and, hit it. And that was so deep, and
they wouldn't have paid you for that quarter trick thing you used to do. I think you'd have made a lot of money with that.
On what?
I'm just kidding.
I was like, what? Well, so yeah, just like you said, here we go. I'm 28 now. I've got 2 kids, got a mortgage. I know I'm not getting out of plumbing at this point.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing the other side of things. I'm seeing like, hey man, this is a good industry. This is strong. Never had an issue with getting my hours. It was always there. The pipeline was always full, pun intended, right? Everybody was constantly working, and I would see guys come and go, and try to go chase a dollar. And I just I'm kind of loyal guy. I'm just going to stick with it.
Yeah.
And so 10-year mark was really, now looking back, I didn't know it at the time, but it was really a pivotal point. To go chase something, else, get another opportunity. But I didn't know just 12 months in, a year into being an inspector, doing just a regular day of work, and I get an inspection request. The owners of the company I worked for, grew up at, I always refer to them where I grew up. They bought a new building, and it was on my inspection list. And I'm like, I hope these son of guns are in here. I walk in with red tag in hand. I walk in the building, and I go out in the warehouse, and they're all standing there. I go, yeah, this isn't going to happen. And so it really opened the door to go back.
Yeah.
But it opened the door to go back into a different role, is to make another challenge, go into a QC, quality control, and safety role. And everybody that I worked with in the field for 10 years, like, you, safety? You're like, you have
this guy's going to be in charge of safety protocols?
You have your Monday through Friday safety act, and then your after hours get it done, routine. And that a lot of them guys that were on those jobs were like, you? And I'm like, yep, by the book now, it's just like, it was a good, time to really try to, challenge, again, another position, another, that's a whole nother industry on its own. Just learning safety,
Well, I want to ask you something about that, because we've talked about this a lot on the show, and I have some other people that are coming on that are in the industry, construction background, stuff like that. Big concern I have, and I want to know how this relates to you and what you think about this concern. I think in the next 10 years, we're really screwed, because trade schools are at an all-time low. The kids that are coming up don't have any interest in doing an actual trade. They all want to be TikTok stars and stuff, and like
so do I.
easy money. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll talk about your TikTok ambitions
I
here
don't
in
even
a
know
little
what
bit.
TikTok is.
But I mean, it's a serious concern for me. Like, you know, we're getting up there in age, especially you. But I mean,
I was like, go ahead.
I'm hanging on a little bit there.
It's so easy, girl.
But
I expected more from you.
Yeah, I got it. I got you. But no, seriously, like, I mean, you look at the owners of these companies that are like high-end trim carpenters, high-end plumbers, master plumbers. These guys can't do that work physically anymore. They're getting real close to not being able to. Yeah. Their kids just want to inherit the business. They don't actually want to do it, nor have they spent the time to learn how to do it. Like, where do you think this next generation of like plumbers and laborers is actually going to come from? Like, is that a concern for you guys? Do you guys see that as an issue? Like when you're trying to hire and stuff? Like,
I will tell you, man, it has been a huge concern for you know, all the different companies and that I talked to and been networked with, and it's always, you know, subject, you know, it's always a topic that we come to. It's like, where are we going to get these guys and girls? You know, where are they coming from? You know, and it's a huge concern. And you know, what's funny is at that 10-year mark of my career, I also I took an opportunity and got my instructor's license with the.
I remember when you were doing all the testing.
So I did that for almost 14 years, and just on the side, would do that on weekends and nights, and was fortunate. You know, it was a great you know, extra income. You know, at the time I needed it, but it really put me in front of a lot of companies and a lot of people, and the statistics the state board would always throw out for the plumbing board was, you know, average ages, because they had all that information. Yeah. So we'd go to Austin, do our training once a year, then we would share all that information for the guys to renew their license. Yeah. And it was always the average age of plumbers is in that mid-50 range. Yeah. This was back in early 2000. It was at that point. Yeah. And so I don't have access to that information on regular anymore, but it's still, I know it's still in that range. It's
still high.
Yeah, and so what I see now is in my role with the company I'm with is doing a lot of the hiring, and what I see happening, a pattern is, one, it's very seldom do we get young guys coming in. It does happen, but the percentage of keeping them or retaining them.
Are they military guys? What are you guys finding? Like,
we're finding, you know, a lot of you know, guys are coming from referrals. Family in the construction, and their feet, you know, they're like, well, that's what my dad does, that's what my uncle does, that's what my brother does, or my cousin. Yeah. They come in. I just last week had an 18-year-old graduated from Dallas Can Academy that morning. Was the brother-in-law of one of our plumbers, came in that day to get to secure a job. He saw something, you know, an opportunity. That doesn't happen very often. Right. I do see a lot of guys that are, you know, in that early 20s coming into the trade. And they can't get into the trade because they can't take the pay cut to start from fresh. Amazon sucked them up. All these warehouse jobs, COVID. Yeah. You know, is you know, and anybody that owns a business has competed with COVID prices, just getting people out of the house to go work, right? Yeah. So what do? They raise the prices up, and then, you know, a trade that needs to stay steady. You know, you have to be competitive. You know, the labor cost has to be, you know, somewhat controlled. You can't see a 20% jump in the middle of the year on jobs you bid 6 months ago. I mean, just that's not good for business, you know, or taking a loss. But I see these 20-year-olds that got into warehouse work. They saw an opportunity they saw a dollar amount. They didn't see a career. They just saw a dollar amount and they chased it. Then they get to $21 or $22 an hour and they're kept out. Right. Yeah. And then it's not that challenging. It's kind of rinse, repeat. They're not really learning a craft. And they have a friend and go, man, you're doing plumbing and you're killing it. But yeah, they don't take in consideration there's a 4-year gap there. And a guy can go from, you know, making $35,000 a year to $70,000 a year in a very short time. Right? Yeah. So they're not willing to either sacrifice whatever lifestyle they've created for themselves on that dollar amount, and go back a few dollars. Yeah. Grab a skill, grab a trade, something that, you know, carries the license. Yeah. That you can really do something with. So I don't have the answer. Any opportunity.
I was just curious because like it's something I worry about. Like, I mean, I
wish
think it's gonna be
we
a
had more. I
big
think
issue.
Some of the school districts, I think, are starting to see the writing on the wall.
And they're changing stuff.
Well, that and they're seeing a lot of the money that's out there for them to start these programs because it's not being used.
Yeah.
So I've had an opportunity to help a school district east of the Metroplex get a program started.
Amanda said you've been hanging out with Sean too much. I don't know what that means, but I feel like that's really good to know.
Well, that's my
Amanda,
brother.
please explain. I'm watching now. I switched over to YouTube so I can see more of these comments.
Well, when I helped them get it started, and just started talking to people in the industry, manufacturers, reps, and everybody was just whatever they need, let us know. Because it's going to affect everybody.
Yeah.
Not just the plumbing owner of the company.
Trim carpenters, drywall guys, high-end
But just think up and down the whole supply chain, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to affect everybody from manufacturing
absolutely.
all the way down to when you put it in the field.
Yeah.
And so they were all willing to help. But then here's where the big problem came. Who's going to teach the class? Nobody wants to come out of the field making the kind of money they're making to go into a classroom. So, I mean, I don't know how you fix that. Honestly, seemed like for 2 years worth of doing classes and saying, hey, if anybody's near that retirement age or wants to, go in and teach what you know to these kids.
I want to get back in the field. Can you step up? Any one of you? Raise your hand.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It definitely see it as a problem.
She said you love your comfortable clothing.
That's got to be my sister-in-law, man. It's because I'm married to Amanda and my sister-in-law's Amanda.
It says Amanda Powers.
Well, think about it. They're both Amanda Powers.
I mean, does she have a dog picture, a boxer as a profile?
That's sister.
All right,
Yeah.
sister. All right.
You don't think that's confusing in the family? It was just me and my brother, and we both married Amanda Powers. So she's Uno, and then mine's Dos. So that's
Uno and Dos.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I like the fact she picked up that I am wearing my comfy clothes. As I was telling you about my comfy jeans and my comfy shirt.
When I met Keith, y'all, Keith was like a CrossFit. I'm sorry. CrossFit.
Hang on, let me move your-
CrossFit. We'll call it CrossFit. No, that's what I tell John all the time. It pisses him off so bad. I'm like, oh, you're going to your cross-dressing class? He's like, shut up. I'm going, you could come to one of mine, do the, whatever.
The WOD.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing any of that. I'm out on all of that.
Dude, that was, I
And I was like, you're too old to be CrossFitting, first
still
of
doing
all.
it, I'm sure.
Dude, yes. Like,
But how does he look?
he looks good. I mean, he's still in shape.
Yeah, and he's...
And he had
50?
he had to have bypass. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, man. He got some stents put in. Like,
Wow.
yeah.
But he's 50 what? Mid-50s? Not mid-50s, is he?
He's 53. He's either 53 or 54. He's like,
He's gonna be mad at you.
53. He's 10 years exactly older than me.
Well, I mean, that's pretty easy math, Garrett.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a little bit, like it's close. He's 10 or 11. I can't remember.
So, yeah, back to the cross-dressing. God, you butchered that, man. Or did you?
Did I?
Right. I was working out like crazy and just got to the point where I was tired of running, losing my breath just to tie my shoes. I'm like, I got to do something. And I got into, at first, just accidentally, some guys were doing this workout at an MMA
Keith
gym.
Salas said Keith going to be late tomorrow with the whiskeys. Yes, I'm going to try and make him late, Keith.
I'm not going to be late.
Or Chris.
I'm not going to be late. No, I just got into work, just somehow just kind of got into it. And all of a sudden I started seeing some results. And I just chased that.
Yeah, man.
Just
it's
chased it.
addicting to
when
get
I did
into
meet you, it was quite a bit different than
you
this
were
look I'm rocking
CrossFitting
today.
king. I was the one getting gas, carrying all the hunting gear and stuff, and you guys are all just like...
Oh, my gosh, man. Yeah, well, you made a comment on last week's, I believe it was your last week's podcast. You were saying you can't outwork a shitty diet.
That's true.
And if I tuned in and really worked on that, I mean, I was in shape, but, I was just on that edge, and I really could have, toned down, got rid of some more body fat.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could go, man. I had a little engine, man. And so I would sign up for any little, little marathon deal I could do, or somebody introduced me to doing off-road marathons. And I was like, what's that? You know?
And you've had a shit ton of stuff going on in your life in the last 10 years.
The last 10 years, yes.
I mean, like, I do want to get into that a little bit later because I think it's important to bring acknowledgement to it. And, you and I have had lots of conversations about it. Like, I don't know many that have been through as much as you and your family have been through that keeps this kind of positive attitude and this joy for life and just is you, man. Like,
we can get into that.
It's you've been through it, man. I mean, you've got 2 kids that had cystic fibrosis, which that's just brutal. I mean, like I shared with you that like I grew up with my dad's boss that we like. He worked for the government, so we all moved around every 3 years together. Like it was a little
changing
family,
identities.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all the time. Don't ask me questions about that.
I'm not going to ask you.
But yeah, I mean, she had cystic fibrosis, and she was actually awarded. She was the longest living person at that time with cystic fibrosis. Her and her brother.
Yeah.
Joanna. And I did my sophomore big report I had to do. I did an interview with her.
Oh, cool.
About cystic fibrosis. I mean, she'd been given awards from presidents and stuff for it and stuff like that. So maybe talk a little bit about that. I mean, to what extent you want to of like dealing with the cystic fibrosis and stuff.
Yeah.
And,
So, I mean, I had no idea what cystic fibrosis was. I mean, I got married super young and 20 years old, had my had my son, and I did not know what cystic fibrosis was, but my wife at the time, when we're not married anymore, as you know, I've remarried to Amanda, but her family, she had a cousin, an aunt and I guess cousins. She had 2 cousins that were diagnosed with it very young. One didn't live. I think she was around 4 when she passed away, and then she had her other cousin who lived to be about 20, 21 years old. So I knew her name was Angie, and I remember hearing stories about her. And so just, here and there, it wasn't something that, talked about all the time. And it was just when you're around her family. So she's pregnant. Of course, we're excited. Everybody in the family's excited. It's going to be, first grandkid for my side, and then second for her side of the family, and pregnancy's going on, and then it gets closer to time, and he's like goes past term, and so we go, this is 95, we go to the hospital and have to go from the doctor's office to the hospital because then now they got all the freaking equipment right there. They can tell you the sex and all kinds of information about the babies, but then we had to go across the street to the hospital, and he starts scanning and looking, and he's like, something doesn't look right. And he's like, what kind of history, any medical history, and starts kind of just doing basic questions. And she says, well, I had a cousin that had cystic fibrosis, and he just shuts everything off. And he's like, does your doctor know that? And she's like, I don't know. So he's like, go back over there and see him. And man, next thing you know, we're gone from that to the next day. We're doing an emergency C-section. And I'm just 20. I'm like, what is going, just freaked out. And, so here comes Tyler, just has a blockage in his intestine. It's a meconium blockage. So it's basically this large mucus plug that got stuck in his intestine, and his abdomen, it was all swollen, and, came out, needed, had emergency surgery that day, colostomy. And I mean, he was 6 months old before we got him out of the hospital. I'm still, again, I'm 20, looking back now, when I see people that are 20, my stepson is 20, I'm like, could you imagine having a family? And not only that, especially, somebody who needs special care and all this. And thankfully, we have a super strong family on both sides that were there for us, to help get us through there. It was a lot for them to handle, and much less us, so, started learning what it was, and it's, it's their body doesn't produce the enzyme to break mucus down. And you think, well, you don't think about, when you hear it, you're like, man, that doesn't sound that bad. But it's horrible because of what it can do to your body, and it does affect the majority of them with the respiratory, but it can affect other organs. It's a wear and tear on all the organs, and it's just like any kind of drug that you take to help in one way, it has some bad side effects. So it's just there's just nothing good that comes from it. But there's a lot of things you can do. At that time there was a lot of medication, breathing treatments, and you would do those on the regular, different drugs, and there was development. But one of the things that I held on to early on when we first was born was the doctor telling me hey, they will have a cure for this within his lifetime. I fully believe that, and I held on to that. I mean, at that time it was like, hey, that gave me something to hold on to and go, okay, we're gonna have some rough roads here, but man, if he really feels that way. Now they don't have a cure. They're close. They've got other great medications. One that my daughter's on. She's now 23, and she's on it, and she is just doing great with her health, and
so awesome.
Yeah,
man.
and so Tyler just he had it rough. It just seemed like everything he dealt with was like times
such
10.
a good kid, man. And it's just like every time it's like he'd make a step up. He'd get his ass kicked again.
Yeah, he definitely did, and he was battling, and just it got to the point where he was sick enough where he needed organ transplant. He needed he needed a lung transplant, and then it came that he needed kidneys, liver, and they don't do a 3 organ transplant. And so man, you want to really learn a lot about our medical health care and that whole process, and it's really really disheartening because of the you hear people getting transplants, and you think it's such a regular thing now. But to get to that point, and then the process to go through it, and how who decides who gets what, and that was a really, really tough process. And I mean, it was just really devastating as a dad, and knowing that you've been hanging on to this, thinking they will find a cure, there will be a fix for this, and as guys, most men we want to fix things. We want to we're going to take care of it. We're protector. We're all these great things, and that's just one of those things that there's nothing you can do. You can advocate, you can help, raise awareness, and the thing about cystic fibrosis is it doesn't affect enough people in the United States for it to be government funded for research.
All of it's independently funded.
Yes, it's all independently funded. You got some big name people that throw a lot of money at it, which is great. He got to the point where his health was just declining, and he just kind of got to the point where there wasn't much left, and he just he fought, it was all the way until it was in April of 2017. And of course it's a struggle, right? I mean, you just can't have something like that happen where you just shelf that and those emotions, and you don't ever think about it. And I realizing this many years later that there's got to be a process of mourning. There's a process of just understanding it where you're at, and it's like all these little things that happen when somebody says, how many kids do you have? Do you leave them out? He'd be pissed if I left him out and say no.
Yeah, he would. So he'd be like, Dad, what the
yeah, I mean, so that's tough to deal with, and it's hard. There's just all the you can imagine all the different anniversaries and things that are just reminders.
Birthdays,
birthdays, the day he passed away, all those things, and it's hard to see. It's hard, watch my daughter, who is super close with him. They had such a great relationship, and his mother, she's it was just caused so much pain there, and see my family, go through it, and everybody deals with it differently. It's just been times where they're like, well, do you want to celebrate this? And I'm like, I'm kind of handling it my own way, and my love, family, and my Amanda has just been freaking awesome. She really helps me through that, and she knows when I'm struggling, and she just is there.
Amanda's awesome, man. I love Amanda to death. She's awesome.
So
then like, not to go more sour.
Yeah.
But holy shit. Like, you deal with all that shit.
Yeah.
And then you meet Amanda, and you guys start going through everything, and you finally find the person that, like, really speaks to you and compatible to put up with you. Like, she deserves a goddamn, like, Heisman trophy for that or something.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
But, I mean, I'm kidding. But,
No, I know.
You know, and then you guys have all this stuff that starts happening with Colton.
Yeah, so.
And, I mean, holy shit, man. Like, it's like.
Yeah.
How you, and I mean, I want to stop for a second before we tell this story, but, dude, like, I'm really proud of you, man. Like, and you're one of my brothers, and like the way you deal with things has inspired me because, like, I don't know if I could deal with all that. Like,
yeah.
And the way you have dealt with it, like, man, it's very admirable, man. I know you have your moments, your time, and I reach out to you periodically, and I mean, definitely on certain days.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's stuff I pay attention to, and it's like, like, I'm here.
Sure.
You want to talk? Whatever. You need your buddy. I'm here. But, like, as much as we give each other shit, man, like, it's very admirable. And, like, what you and Amanda have done and how you guys handle things.
Yeah.
Much respect, brother.
I appreciate it. You know, like I said, it's not always this nice.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of bad that goes with it, and there's moments where I'm at my low. I'm not somebody that I want to put out there on display. So I just I don't know where you get it from. But I credit my parents a lot.
Absolutely.
I think it just speaks to how you're raised, and not to say that it was they were raised with an iron fist, but they were loving, for sure.
Yeah.
But for me it was just like, okay, well, if I could do something here, would Tyler want me to sit around crying about it? I mean, he laughed at me when I gave a speech at my brother's wedding because I started to talk about my relationship with my brother. When Tyler was born, that was the moment that he and I kind of put the boxing gloves to the side and became best friends. And literally, my best friend. He and I share a lot of moments together, and so when I was my brother got married much later. Tyler was probably about 10 at the time.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they'll jump on here and correct me, but he. We were at the.
I hope so. And if you want to tell some good Keith stories, just put them in the feed here. I'll make sure to acknowledge those.
He'll put them out there. But so we were at. I believe we were at the dinner before the night before the wedding, or rehearsal dinner. I was trying to find what it's called. And so I was just trying to show my appreciation to the relationship that we had, but I was too emotional about it because it brought back a lot of emotions. Like that first 6 months. When Tyler was born, like I said, it was tough, and
you're 20 years old, your kid's in the hospital.
Yeah, you're scared. I mean, that's what people react out of, fear and love, right?
Yeah.
So I was scared, and so he was one that just was kind of had that, was able to talk to me. Calm me down. I don't know how, because we tried to kill me growing up. I can tell you, we could have a whole podcast about it, how many different ways he tried killing me.
Sounds like me and my younger brother.
So, yeah, you're an older brother.
Yeah, I'm an older brother. I totally understand this.
But I'm sitting there giving this speech, and I start crying, and Tyler's laughing at me. Like, he never had that emotion. Like, he was just like, "What are you doing?" And he didn't understand. But that's the kind of kid he was,
Yeah.
And we tell stories about him all the time, and and always just kind of laugh about different moments and things that had happened with him and times. And I tell you what, who inspired me was him. Really, I mean, he was at 5 and 6 and 8 years old. I mean, he was like a grown man. I mean, he literally teachers would he didn't connect with little kids. He just had grown up so fast. His
mentality was way past that.
And it's like, I don't know what that secret sauce was, or why he was just people say, oh, he's an old soul. No, he was. I mean, like, he was a comedian. His timing was like perfect. It's just all these things, and it was like,
well, life happened to him faster. He had to adapt and grow at a rate, and he had the realization of life and death on a daily basis.
And that's something I never
and that's
could
something
understand.
he had to contemplate, and he probably came to that better than either of us, even still to this day, are at. That like that's something he had to come to terms with, like very early on.
Yeah, I mean, he's taking a handful of pills every day just to have a nice balance where you can, that cystic fibrosis it slows the growing process down because you absorb all your nutrients through your intestine, and when you lose 50% of that when you're born, and you pound that, put that on top of compound that with cystic fibrosis. He was struggled gaining weight, and then they would put him on growth hormone, and then he started having problems with his bones growing faster than the rest of his body, and he developed just this horrible scoliosis. And it's like, wow, just one thing after another.
Yeah, it's like kid can't win.
Yeah, no, I mean, literally couldn't. And but I mean, anybody that he came in contact with, and again, mostly adults, would just be like, he is something special. Like, he really is. And he didn't think about, he's your kid, but he was raising me the whole time. That's the way I see it now, looking back. I mean, he literally was raising me. He would keep us grounded. I mean, he's like, guys, it's 8 o'clock. We should be home, going to bed. The old man going to bed at 8, getting up at 5. We're like, before he could lift a gallon of milk, we're like, okay, we put you a cup of milk here, cereal's down low, go ahead. And he just in there, watching the news. He watched cartoons, but I mean, he was a grown man. And
watching 60 Minutes, giving you the update.
My family will tell you, every one of them will tell you the same thing. But I feel like looking back, like he raised me, and he would there's just a few things, more than a few, but that stick out to me that just moments that we had, but things that he would tell me. Like I remember one time, he's probably, still in elementary school age, and he's like, man, I wish I was more like you, and I didn't have to take all these pills, and I didn't have to. I said, what I do is easy. I said, what you do is the day fight, to go through what you're going through. It's like
absolutely
like breathing through a straw. That's how much of a struggle it is for them just to breathe. So it's like seeing all those things and what they can do, and it's just, it was amazing. So I mean, I think the pain of losing him and not having him to to love on and hug or to see and watch him grow up and see what he's developed into. He just made this huge impact on so many people. Obviously me. For living 21 years, and people would say, man, I just can't understand that. And I just always kind of just hold on to certain things. I'll just share a few. One is that by spending so much time in the hospital, you see so many other families and so many other things that it's like, how many of them didn't get 21 years, so we always take things for granted, like, I'll see you tomorrow. Like, no, you don't know that. You know what I mean? So, I feel blessed to have that, and I'd really try to find peace in that, the fact that we do have 21 years of stories and to share. And,
absolutely.
But, like I said, I still have the days where my office is. I go by the church, or you remember where we planted the tree, which, by the way, that tree was as crooked as he was, and that thing is as straight as an arrow. And
see, that's something I would never say. Like you hear Keith is that crooked ass fucking tree.
Yeah, but
it was like when I saw the post, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
like,
but that my parents still go to that church, and my
tree now is
it's awesome. Like I go by it every day, and it's sometimes there's how a certain song will come on and it'll bring up so many emotions. And there's been times, I'm gonna lie, I've stopped in the parking lot and just had my own little moment.
Yeah,
and sit there and like, okay,
you're owed that.
Let's go ahead and go on, But then there's times where you maybe have a little too much of this, and something gets said, and the next thing you know, you just let it out. And Amanda knows.
Gotta do that.
Huh?
That's good. That's healthy, man. You gotta do that.
I think so. Like I said, everybody's going to deal with it differently. And that's just right now. That's where I'm at with dealing with it. And so, yeah. So, anybody that's dealing with that, hey, hats off to you. It's a struggle. We've had some families people that we know that have dealt with it. Riley, just a couple years ago, she got into her career as cosmetology, got her license, and she's doing really well with that. But she was nominated for Dallas's Finest, which was a cystic fibrosis the Dallas North Texas chapter put on. She was nominated, and she raised money for that. Was finished fourth against some heavy professionals in it, but it was all young adults dealing with cystic fibrosis. But in their career and how they're doing. So that was really awesome. So I mean, she's doing great. Doing on, she just recently went out on her own
to hear that.
do that. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, so
yeah, and he's horrible at social media. So I usually piggyback off Amanda. So you guys, if you follow my page, you've seen some of the stuff. Like you've seen the Colton T-shirts. You've seen some of that stuff. I mean, whenever I actually see it, I post it. I put it out there because anybody can like support that. Like I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Like, it's something passionate to me that this is something that affects a lot of families. Like he said, cystic fibrosis does not hit a high enough majority of people, especially in the U.S. It's more European from what I don't know. If I remember correctly from doing my research when I interviewed Joanne, I think it's more predominantly like a Northern European thing where it affects more people. But like here in the U.S., like the percentage is small, but it doesn't make it any less devastating. It doesn't make it any less easier to deal with or anything like that. Like they need to have more research. They need to have more funding and money for this to, help these kids and people. I mean, there's young adults, there's adults that are living with this and dealing with this, and it's really brutal. I was blessed to watch Joanne go through that in life, and like, man, there's not a woman outside of like my mother and my immediate family that I admired more for watching her go through that. And like, she was a big wig. I mean, like at the FDIC, like she ran shit, and like what she would do just to be able to work and stuff like. And I mean, I saw it firsthand. I mean, we moved together as a family every 3 years to different states as they all continue to climb the corporate ladder.
Like just a daily prep to get ready. I mean, you're getting up 2-3 hours ahead of time because
everybody
of the treatments and everything that you need to do just to
breathing treatments and medicine and just all of that. But I want to give Colton some love too, because that little dude has been through a lot, and he is battling his ass off. And like Colton Colton, you kind of inspire me. I mean, I've got the T-shirt. Yeah. It's one of my favorite T-shirts to wear. I wear it to the gym a lot, but like, maybe share a little bit about what Colton's going through, and maybe we can like raise some more awareness and like support for Colton.
Yeah. So I'll tell you that as far as, going through that with, not long after losing Tyler was just like, man.
Yeah, like not even a year.
It was like, you really have to, thank God just for like really being able to give us the strength to get through that. And so I'm going to give like all the credit to Amanda and Colton's dad, and Colton, for what they've gone through. And I've, just kind of finding my way to figure out how to support or be there for them. But
I'm going to try the hoochie coochie too while you're at it.
So Colton is my youngest stepson. So we're the fun blended family, and so Colton at 15 was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which in his left knee, and so it was just how that all came out was just kind of crazy in itself. But he had twisted his knee coming home. That's a long story, but. Yeah, we had moved, and he was. They were in a different district when where we had moved from. It was dual district.
He's coordinated like you.
And so he comes. He comes. He walks home, and he stepped funny on a sidewalk, and he thought he twisted his knee or did something.
Yeah.
And so that went on for a few weeks, and his dad Casey says, "Hey, I'm going to take him to go get this looked at and see what's going on." And they got blessed with. They went to one of the little clinics, they're like a Medcare or I don't remember the names of them, but
Primacare, whatever.
Yeah, one of those.
Quick box clinic.
And so they go there to get an X-ray, and they just happened to get super lucky with the lady that looked at the X-ray. She had experience and was familiar with what that would look like, and she basically said, if that was my child, I'd have him at Children's tonight. And Man and I are out celebrating an anniversary, partying in downtown. We're doing a little staycation. and get a call.
That's all Amanda needed to hear.
Yeah, we get a call, and she at 3 or 4 in the morning, she's like, hey, get me an Uber. I'm going to the hospital right now. And I'm thinking, I was like, I felt like, man, we're rushing, like a super over complicating this. No, man, I was so wrong. And, you know, of course, felt horrible. But, yeah, it was, man, that day we're like, I'd go take our friends, and we all rode together. I go back up to the hospital, go up to Children's, and they got a full-on game plan. They're like, no, we're starting, you know, putting a port in on this day, and we're starting chemo on Tuesday. And I'm like, this Tuesday? I'm like, are we that sure already? And I mean, it just went that fast. And next thing you know,
And this kid is 15 at the time.
15. And, it just went from there, and, you know, went through a chemo process. You know, of course, they go off to Houston to get input from those guys down there. And, you know, pediatric oncology. Yeah,
and if you guys see on my page, like, there's Caring Bridge is right.
Amanda posts on the Caring Bridge.
Amanda posts on the Caring Bridge. I've shared the link before my page. You might have to scroll a little bit. I'll try to get back on Amanda's page here in the next day or two, and I'll repost those links. But any of you that are interested in helping or supporting, or, you know, just words of encouragement or whatever you want to give, you know, I'll post those links where you can follow Colton's journey.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I tell you what, Amanda, you know, she's her major in English, and she's in the school district. She's a reading intervention specialist now. And
kill that bottle.
All right,
let's go bottle kill. Hoochie Coochie is gone.
He's not going to be late. He's just not going to show the hell up tomorrow.
Hey, he's going to stop and get kolaches and
I'll
shit.
Be there. No, I'm not either. I'll be there, though.
There you go, Blake.
Yeah, so Amanda, with her writing skills, I mean, every time she posts, I mean, it was kind of one of those things where, like, you're sad to get an update because there's more happening, you know, it's as you're going through this process. But man, her writing is and I'm terrible. Like, somebody wants
it's like reading chapters, and I'm not, it's awesome. I am not knocking her. I'm totally full supportive of this. But, like, yeah, when you get to an Amanda post, you better sit down and be ready.
But
like,
they're just
don't read that shit on your phone.
in.
Like, you need to sit down and, like, read it, because she's gonna give you the full story.
Like, if somebody handed me a book and go, read this book, and you will learn how to make $1 million in 90 days. I couldn't finish it with, like, it'd take me 10 days to get through like 3 pages because I'm falling asleep, you know. And but her posts, I mean, just like, I would try to always remember to tell. I was like, babe, that was amazing. Like, and you know, one thing it did for me was like put me in her perspective, like see it in her eyes, how she's dealing with it, you know. And not that I always
it had to be a huge help too, though, like,
but I didn't always, you know, I didn't do the greatest, you know. It was a struggle. It was hard for me, you know. I'm not making this about me, but it was hard for me to go into those settings. Yeah. Just because I just had some bad, you know.
Dealt with the death of your son.
But it's just like, you know, at that time, you know, 21, 22 years of being in and out of the hospital. So it just brought up bad feelings for me. But she's like, this isn't about you. You know, you need to show your support, be here for me, and be here for, you know. Yeah. So that was, you know, I would say, you know, anybody that's listening or anybody that's going through that, that's real. That's real. And it still can be, I mean, for us, because we are still, you know, dealing with it. And so I don't want to take any kind of like, oh man, any attaboys about dealing with that. It was all, you know, it's like I said, is a tough, and I don't even know that I'm doing a great job of explaining that, but it's just.
No, I think you're doing a really great job, man. Like, I think the moral of what you're saying is you aren't necessarily done grieving and dealing with what you were dealing with. You now are with your wife and, you know, the person you love, and another one of your children that you adopted as one of your own. And now you're having to watch another child go through something very, very similar. So it brings up all those fears, all those insecurities, and you're having to relive parts of that. And even though it's a little different scenario, right. So you're having to take that in and process it. And like, yeah, man, I mean, I'm sure you nor anybody else would have handled that perfectly all the time. But, you know, at the end of the day, you were still there. And, you know, luckily you have an amazing wife like Amanda that was able to, like, have conversations and not be resentful for that, but, like, also be able to be like, hey, I need you right now.
Yeah.
I need to talk. I need another way of bringing this out. Like, you know, and lucky for her, probably writing. Like, I know with my wife, like, I'm not gonna like dive into anything here, but like, even with my wife, like when, you know, early on when we were in our relationship, I'm one of those people that like, not that I'm comparing this by any means, but like when we would have a fight, you know, like I was always that, let's not go to bed mad. Like I want to solve it right then and there.
That's a man.
My wife is not like that.
Yes.
Sarah is like, whoa, slow your shit. That was a major thing. I need to process this. We'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah.
And at first, man, like I was like, no, we're gonna solve this right now.
Yeah.
We're not letting this fester. We're not letting this grow.
I wish I could say I've got that under control.
Bad move. No, and I don't always.
Yeah.
Like I have to remind myself sometimes and still do that, but like I had to give her space to process. My wife, she'll sit and write all this stuff down, and like she takes like notes like a lawyer. I mean, like, and she'll be there, and then like after she's processed, then we'll have a conversation. Then we get to go past it. But you know, now this is a 48, 72 hour process. Whereas like I'm like, I want to get through this now. So I'm sure it's much the same in a very similar manner of like, hey, I need to process this. I need your support. I don't exactly know what it is I need or what now. And I'm sure there's times you kind of probably maybe, I'm assume you need to give this. And she's like, whoa, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Like, I need a little more time to just kind of like, but I do need you here. I do need like, just be here.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say, you know, cause we're not through it, you know, he's now 20. He's, you know, we were on a good stretch, you know, good clear scans, and he was doing well. He went off to college, which was great because he went from, you know, finishing school in the hospital to going, mid junior year clear to go back to school. And that's right at the peak of COVID. And he's like, nobody's taking this serious. I'm not healthy enough to be around this without everybody else participating. And so, you know, between Amanda and his dad, Casey, you know, they're like, okay, well, you know, he finished online, you know, just staying remote. And so I was like, man, how's he going to, you know, jump out and go to college? But he did. He went off to Tarleton and did his freshman year, and everything was rocking and rolling. And, April of that year, he, kind of took a turn, and, you know, they had found some stuff. And then so he kind of had to go back through that process. And then it went from April to then, you know, they did a lung resection, and then that was like August, and then April. Then by August, came back, and, you know, they had to really get aggressive again and just kind of start the process over. And he's been through a lot. And
how's he doing now?
So right now, you know, he's doing pretty well. I mean, and he's finished up his chemo, I believe, in February, and so he's working part time at my sister-in-law's old CPA firm. He's just kind of interning there, just getting out to get some, get out there and do some, have some money and walking money in his pocket, and figuring out what he wants to do. You know, he's
cool.
Want to get something in the medical field. I was just talking to Amanda about this the other night. I'm like, what's the plan? You know, and so, you know, there's just, you know, still at that point where we're still scared, you know, don't know what to expect.
Absolutely.
And, you know, don't know which direction it's going to go. And so, you know,
we're all praying for Colton, and we hope that keeps being positive news, man.
No, I appreciate that.
And real quick, I got to tell you, Anthony wants to tell you he's proud of you, man.
That's my little nephew. That's a great, those two kids, you know, how they, my brother and sister-in-law, I just call her sister because that's
Amanda number one.
Amanda Uno, yeah. So
Uno.
They adopted Anthony and Christiana. I'd say we're sitting on 12 years ago. Maybe he'll jump on and correct it, but man, the greatest thing about him is how much he's just like me. So when my brother thought he was going to get away from having to live with somebody that he just despised and couldn't stand, he got him right back again, and I love it. So
That's awesome.
He just started driving.
So you and Anthony are like 6 and 7.
Oh man, we're put together.
Sorry for your brother and your sister.
And it's not just a few people that recognize it. It's like everybody that meets him, like, oh my gosh, that's Keith again.
Well, the one thing you can tell though, just sitting here and listening or whatever, it's everything around you has gone so well, and it's positivity because it radiates from you.
Yeah,
and you know,
I'm telling you, man,
they're just, you have an aura of positivity that's just off the chain. So nothing but, you know, and I believe in. I mean, what's that thing they call when you say affirmations and all that? The energy you put out is the energy you receive.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's one of the reasons I really wanted Keith on here, man. Like, I mean, the last 45 minutes, we've talked about the most horrific things any parent could ever go through. Like, and this dude just keeps getting it. Like, and yet, look,
maybe on the way home I'll break down.
He's holding it. He's holding it together, man. Like, and he's one of my really good friends, man. And like, I don't know how he does it. Like, if I think I'm having a shitty day, I'm like, fuck, my day ain't as bad as Keith's. Like, you know what I appreciate that. I mean, like, and I don't mean that shitty, but like, I mean, in reality, like, it's some of those things you got to think about. Like, when you think your day's bad, it's not as bad possibly as the person next to you. And yet, he probably walks around, and the majority of people that come in contact with him have no idea that he's dealing with all this. Because like I said, he's not a social media person. He doesn't put a lot of stuff out there. I had to tell John that you actually had an Instagram page.
I have 29 followers. Just
John was like, wait, Keith's on social media? And I'm like, no, yeah, he's on here. Like, I was like, he don't post a lot, but like, he's on here. I was like, that's actually how this conversation started. I gave him shit and started busting his balls because he was at the Byron Nelson. I was like, oh, big time. And now, Mr. Ultra Club, like,
you know how I'm sitting there and you know, I'm Pawpaw, don't have glasses. I'm trying to find my glasses. And I'm like, what's Garrett got to say? And I'm like, you sorry, dog? I say, yeah, I'm inviting you out here just like you're inviting me on that podcast. And he's like, you want to get on there? I was like, let's go, baby. Let's go. Internet gold. No, Anthony, that's funny that he got on there and posted. But yeah, we were actually hanging out this weekend, and my niece Christiana, we all the three of us, you know, we have a good time together. But they came out and hung out at the house this week, and they think I live in the country.
I want to see the new house. Like, you know, we're out. I haven't seen the new house because I went to the old one where you did the man cave in the garage.
Yeah.
But then I remember, like, right after that, y'all found this other house, like, down the road a little bit that you, like, fell in love with, and you're like, I'm buying this house. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, you just bought that, like, 8 months ago. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, we were there about 2.5 years.
Built that house.
Yeah, we were there a little over 2 years, and we were out riding a motorcycle Father's Day weekend of, I think that was 2020. Yeah, it was 2020, and we're out. Amanda and I are out riding with some friends, and we're out that way. And I'm like, hey, she's like, what? And I was like, we need to come look at these houses. And she's like, what? So Sunday after Father's Day, we go riding around in the truck, and we go out looking, and we're like, let's look at this neighborhood. Like, oh, that's out of our price range. Let's look at this neighborhood. Oh, that's not in our price range. Well, hey, let's call our realtor. And she comes in Monday, that Monday. I'll shorten the story. But our house was sold that week, and we signed a contract on that new one that same week. And Amanda's like midweek's having this breakdown. We're laying in bed. I'm like, you okay? She's like, no, we just sold our house. I'm like, I love this house. And I was like, we're not, this house doesn't make us. We're the house. You're going to be us wherever we live. And so, we need to have y'all out there and check it out. And
well, since I know Sarah's not listening right now, you got to help me, like, get Sarah, like, in on the motorcycle thing. Like, maybe I can just rent one for a weekend or something.
You know what? That's exactly what my brother was doing just till recently. So
she's so out on the motorcycles.
Not gonna let that happen.
No. Well, I mean, I've gotten lucky, like, not having a motorcycle license all the years that I rode bikes. I felt like I was kind of pushing the luck there. Like, if I was actually going to do it again, I actually need to go get my license.
You know what started the motorcycle? We grew up riding motorcycles, like dirt bikes. My dad didn't do sports. My dad
Christiana
did water.
happily pushed that stroller. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Tell them about the stroller. We got to know about the stroller.
Let me tell about motorcycles. That's way cooler. But he was water skiing, and motorcycle riding. It's like that was his way to communicate. He grew up that way with his dad. So we didn't, play in sports. We played them, but it wasn't like, hey, you got to, play football. No, it's like I had to, middle school, like, I want to play football. And they're like, we don't know anything about it. But so we grew up riding dirt bikes, and he always, kept us on them, and was great. And we learned.
So you got a big boy Harley?
Yeah. So right now.
Got a fat boy.
Yeah, no, I got a Road Glide.
Road Glide, I'm about to say Road Glide, yeah.
Yeah, I got a 19 Road Glide Special.
See, my brothers all ride those, but they all started me. I learned how to ride a motorcycle when I was like 30. Yeah. I started on sport bikes.
Okay.
So that's all I know how to ride. And then when I go try to sit on their big boys with the bags and all that, like, this shit is too big. Mm-hmm. Like, it's huge. He's like, no, it's easier to ride than a sport bike. I'm like, nah, I don't see that.
I never got into sport bikes. I tried in
all I know is crotch rockets.
Yeah, I tried to get one of those, and my dad's like, no, you're not getting one of those. I think it was right at the time when I was moving out, and I really wanted one so bad, and then I just couldn't afford it once I moved out on my own, so it just never happened.
Man, I can't afford a Harley. The Harleys are like, I can get a nice crotch rocket for like $6-7 grand. A Harley as much as a car.
Like big dog over here, man.
Dude, they got out of control on pricing, and so renting. That's how So what I was gonna say is,
I mean, I know you used to do that because I remember like it never failed in the last like 5 years. I can count. I mean, I had to take my shoes off.
Don't do that.
But every time I would call you and be like, hey, you're like, man, me and my dad and my brother just rented bikes.
Yeah.
We're going through like East Texas or South Texas. We're going on a ride. And I was like, all right, man, like, I'll let that fly. Like, you're not like hanging out with Dr. Evil going bird hunting and didn't invite me. Like, no. I'll give you that.
But you know what happened? My dad, when they moved to Murphy in like 96, 97 from Garland, where I grew up, and so they were moving and had a garage sale, and somebody said, hey, is your motorcycle for sale? And at the time, I think he had like an 81 Yamaha 650 Special. Yeah. And I mean, everybody knew my dad. He's never been without a motorcycle. Always had a motorcycle, and they were moving, and the next thing you know, they're like, yeah, your dad sold his motorcycle. And he's like, yeah, I'm not getting another one talking about Harley. I'm like, what? Like, I've never not known him to have a motorcycle. And he didn't, he went without one till, oh man, somebody can post one of the family members, but he retired. When he retired from Texas Instruments, he like retired on a Friday and bought a Harley on that Saturday. Oh my gosh, what did somebody ride?
Tell your story.
So he retires and literally buys a Heritage Classic that same, like the next day he retired. And then that was what he did. My mom was still working. She'd go off to work. She'd leave him a little honeydew list. He'd knock that out, and he'd get on the bike, and he would just go riding. Yeah. And my brother and I were getting these most random texts from him. It was like, look at this duck. I just stopped in this park. We're like, I was like, what is going on? But he packs a little bag. He has like
has a little lunch,
peanut butter crackers and Gatorade. That's his thing, and he's just off and going. And my brother and I are sitting around that weekend when he bought that bike, and he takes off or whatever. And my brother looks at me and he goes, how jealous are you right now? I go, I can't stand it, man. And so we rented. We signed up then to get a class, and then we started renting. Here and there we've been renting bikes. And in 2015, I think it was, I bought a Street Glide. I bought my first Street Glide, and man, it was like, wow, and so Dad and I would, go ride, and then Sean started renting bikes, and his wife, and they had an agreement, and I don't know all the details of it, but it was basically like, I'm not raising these kids by myself.
Sean, you need to get on here and tell some stories.
So when you turn 50, you can buy a Harley. Yeah. So guess what? He turns 50, and he turned 50 in April this year, but earlier in the year, she decided she'd get another dog, and he said that was their agreement. You get another dog, I'm getting a bike. And she said, go get your bike. And he tried to be all cool and like slow roll going and buying it. And that was like on a Monday. And I was like, I said, if you don't text me where we're going to pick your bike up this weekend, I said, I'm done talking to you, man. And then Wednesday, he's like, what do you think about this? And I was like, my man. I was like, we're going to get that bike this weekend. Yeah. And sure enough, we did. So for his 50th, we're leaving in 3 weeks for he'll correct me, but I think 12 days. But we're leaving Dallas on the bikes, and we're going to basically just ride all of Colorado. Parents are going up.
Y'all would geek out meeting my great uncle, man. Like, he's rebuilt Indian Chiefs.
I don't know anything about building them. I know about adding stuff to
ride them and
accessories and riding them, doing things to the motor.
My brother's got the big 30-inch wheels on the front and all that other
Uno
crazy
said
stuff.
Wednesday dogs, Saturday bike.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way that went down.
Well, hold on. I'm not letting you get away from this stroller comment because I really want to know about this.
Oh, my gosh.
But I have to ask you about this. I'm supposed to ask you about your right turns on motorcycles.
Oh, my gosh. So that's Sean posting that. But I will say this. During our motorcycle class, I smoked him on the written part. I mean, I probably beat him by 2 points, but it doesn't matter. That's smoking a brother.
Win is a win.
That's smoking a brother.
Yeah. But we go out to do the field, the course riding, and I don't know what it was in my brain, but I could not make right turns. So the joke forever was like, hey, we got to go up here, but we're going to turn right. Are you going to be all right? You're going to be okay? And I'm like, as long as I can go wide. As long as I can go wide. Why don't you ask him about our most recent experience? We took one of those cop classes, or not the rodeo style, where them guys ride crazy.
Oh, yeah, with the cones, and they leaning it.
We had cones, but they were wide cones, but it was one of those instructors. It was like
a cone killer.
Man, no, he's bike dropper.
Oh, damn.
Ask him who kept his bike up on 2 wheels the whole time.
You said your niece finally showed you how.
Yo, she gets on. She's his ride or die girl, man. She's with us.
All right, now tell me about this stroller thing, because for whatever reason, I feel like the stroller story is gold.
Golly. So, my dog, Bella, my lab that, I've had, she's, I think she'll be 9 or 8, maybe 8.
The one that goes and gets all the birds that I shot that you claim to have shot?
Oh, my gosh. I think you're going to have me on this. You're going to need to call this part 1, to be continued. Yes, that dog.
Just making sure.
Yeah. No, that's that dog. But, I got hooked on this French bulldog, like everybody having French bulldogs, right? You got them?
Yes, my son breeds them.
Is that right?
So I got Frenchies, yes sir.
So I'm trying to talk Amanda in it. She goes, I don't want to be a 2-dog family. We got the perfect dog, literally the perfect dog. Doesn't bark. She's trained. She can. I should have taught her to retrieve bears instead of ducks because I didn't shoot too many of them. But
this is true.
So I kept saying, what about this one? What about this one? And then when we started looking at them, we're like, they're how much? And we're like, no, I'm not doing that.
They're expensive.
And so everyone I would show, she's like, they're just so ugly. No. And I just kept shoving on her. Well, our good friends, Misty and Grady King, they had a couple of them. And it just really sparked it up last summer, being around them. And so Misty started feeding it fire, and she was friends with somebody who was a part of a rescue group. Mm-hmm. Hey, check this one out. Well, the problem is with a lot of those groups, they want to come out and they're going to, look at your home. But we live on an acre, but it's not fenced.
Okay, so it's wide open.
They're like, you have to have a fence. And so that kind of killed that. Well, then we get this introduction in October to adopt this 2-year-old male, and we get it. They talked it up, and Amanda saw the picture. She's like, I don't know what it is about him, but I think let's just try it out. So go get him. They're like, just keep him for a few days, make sure he's a fit for you guys. And
is it the lab or is it the Frenchie?
The Frenchie. Okay. So the lab I had since she was
the lab for a while.
Since she was literally my best friend Chris out there. He had the litter, and so we got her from 6 weeks old or whatever. But no, the Frenchie. So October we welcome Winston Boudreaux Henderson into our home.
Yeah. Nice.
And he quickly becomes everybody's dog but mine.
Of the family.
Doesn't like me. He's scared of guys. I try to pet him. He's like, ugh. I was like, he was whipped. He's 2 years old. Biggest French bulldog I've ever seen. They just awesome looking. I have my picture of my dogs on my phone. I'm sure Amanda will be super happy.
Can you fit inside a dryer?
Oh my gosh. See what I mean? It's like this is definitely going to part 2, but I won't be able to find a picture. But yeah, so
sorry, they can't see it anyways, even if you did.
So Amanda now is like Winston's all about her. She can't go anywhere without him being right there. She can't go to the bathroom without him chasing down. Sleeps in our bed. No. Hot boxes us under the sheets, like sleeps at the bottom.
They fart and snore like human beings,
oh my gosh.
You wouldn't believe.
Oh, I have a.
Even your dog Con is no different.
You want to talk about snoring? I have a dog that somebody needs to invent a sleep apnea machine for a dog. Like, my dog has the worst sleep apnea you ever heard in your life. And like, he makes me sound like I don't have a problem. Like, that dude saws logs. I mean, it's unreal.
Well,
Quick shout out, because this dude smokes some okay cigars, but tonight we hooked him up with the Grand Habano Anniversary Edition. Great cigar.
Pretty much like almost a show
Luciano,
favorite.
if you are listening, I highly doubt you are watching my podcast, but I'm smoking the Maria Lucia.
His mama.
But that Foreign Affair, man, they are out of Foreign Affairs up
Already?
here. They only got the shorties, but I love the shorties. I bought half of them. They'd only let me buy half of them.
Oh, that's why they're out, because you bought them all?
No,
He's
they're
the guy
out.
that bought up all the toilet
They're out
paper
of the
during
normal sizes, but
Save some
like
for the
they
rest
still
of
have
us.
the shorties.
Oh, okay.
They still have the shorties.
I gotta go grab some as soon as
Those
we get done
Foreign
for my trip.
Affairs are the shit. I've been smoking them nonstop. Other one I hooked him up with here tonight is the Zulu.
Zulu.
I love to smoke this cigar. And then the other one I'm going to finish this off with tonight is the Toro Terra Blanche.
Terra Blanche.
I mean, you can't go wrong. So we killed the Hoochie Coochie. We're still working on some Four Roses, some Smoke Wagon. For those of you that are interested in what we're drinking, what we're smoking.
The guys I ride with, they're fans of the Smoke Wagon.
Smoke Wagon's good, man. That's not my favorite. Like, I like the uncut,
So you brought it
unfiltered.
hoping I would drink it?
No. I like that one. I mean, out of all the little, like, so they put out like Christmas, 4th of July. Like, this just happens to be the Christmas one I brought out.
But who would think Las Vegas?
Well, it's all MGP sourced for the most
I
part.
don't know what you're saying.
Yeah,
That
I'm
means
speaking
nothing.
Japanese to you. This is like you talking about how you handle pipe and the fittings.
Does
and
this
all
make
that.
sense to you, what he's saying? See, he's with me.
Oh, no, but I got Garrett speak.
Hey,
I got Garrett speak
I've been
now.
educating Biz.
I got Garrett speak now. No, I heard everything you
So
said.
I'm gonna have you over to the house. Come to the house bar. We'll go through all this. But I want to talk about something else before we have to get off here in a little bit.
So you don't wanna hear the,
I think we're gonna go a little long tonight.
You don't wanna
Biz
hear
is
the,
hating me for saying that.
Well, as long as I can get to goody goody before they close.
You don't want to
he's
hear
gotta
the
get
stroller
goody
story?
goody.
Huh? Are we getting rid of that story? We got off on Frenchies.
Yeah,
The stroller story.
I don't want to
love
hear about. All
Frenchies,
right,
man.
stroller.
I'll finish up real quick. Stroller, Amanda's dog now, right? And she thinks every French
Does she have
bulldog
a purse that she carries the dog in?
He's like 38 pounds. You can't carry that dog in a purse.
They get
Okay,
thick.
I'm just making sure.
She thinks that he'll die if he walks too much because he can't get too hot. So she bought a dog stroller.
No.
So Saturday morning,
Amanda,
so we get
dose.
up Saturday morning.
Amanda,
I'm like,
no.
I am not pushing that. I'm not. That's not happening. I'm not doing it. She's like, I'll push him. So Saturday morning, I get up and I tell the kids, it's like, hey, I'm going to go on a walk. You guys want to go with me? And so the stroller comes out because Winston's going to go with us. And my niece, real troop, she's like, I'll push him. So we put him in there for first time experience of walking around the neighborhood.
What a stroll.
Me and Anthony are just having a ball. We're like, can't wait till somebody stops to ask to see our baby. We look in there and see his big old head.
So does your dog not like to be mine? Like the two, they don't like to be held. Does he like? He likes
This
to lay
dog
on
doesn't
you,
want him to touch him.
cuddle him, or things like that. But if you pick him up, hold him, she's like, no, because I have a girl Frenchie. She's
Okay.
like, no, but if you're like, if I'm laid out, like stretched
Yeah.
out, she'll come jump between me. Like she loves to lay on you or whatever, just not to be held.
He will come to me if I'm the only one in the house. Like he's like,
Because
all right,
he
I'll
can't get
take
no.
you.
So one last question: does he do this? Because I don't know. This is a Frenchie thing. My son has 5 of them at his house.
Wow.
Do they do this silly shit to where they tell you they want to go out and they'll literally loop right back around to the door if you don't come out there with them? They'll go out and they'll come right back like, "Yo, where you at?"
We can't let
I'm gonna
him
come
out
in.
on his own because we don't have the fence yet.
He'll run loose. He'll just.
So
pew.
we have to. No, we've tried that trust, and he has broken that trust too many
Well,
times.
you know what they're built to do? Is they're built to chase rabbits and rats.
Dude, we're dealing with that because I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
But
French
we've got
bulldogs were
rabbits.
made in France to actually control the rat population.
Really?
Yes. So, like, you know,
Yeah,
we have
and
field
boxes
rats.
were bred to fight bears. I still can't see that because my dog's the biggest pussy in the world.
Every time I do come
the
over and I
Girl
say, "Hey,
Scout
Con,"
rings
he
the
bolts the
doorbell
other
and
way.
he's like, "Arr!"
That
we
makes
had a-
so much sense because
We
we're
had a
struggling with
rat
that.
in the back. So we had a rat in the patio one time, and I went out there, and this rat was like straight up bold. Like I jumped at it, pushed the chair at it, it didn't move. So I said, "All right." So then we had to go somewhere, and I told my wife, I said, "There's a rat on the patio out back." She's like, "Well, I ain't going out there." So I forgot about it, and
That's
I
a biz problem.
let Dior out. I let Dior out. When we came back, the rat was sitting at the front door.
The bulldog named Dior.
Yes, it's Dior LaRue. It's French.
Coach too.
My name is Winston Boudreaux Henderson.
See, you got to have something French in there. But when we got back, the rat was laid out, throat missing, sitting in front of the door, and Dior was sitting there like, "You got some more?" And I was like, "Yo!" Like when we let her out, she goes rabbits. All that means she is on it.
He wants to chase the rabbits, and I'm like, "What are you gonna do? You get pushed around in a stroller. You sleep in a bed."
That's why I'm asking. Like he does all this, but the natural intention. But does he bolt when he does run? He should be gone.
This morning I could not get him to go to the bathroom because that rabbit was chasing there. And finally I put Bella on him, which she's not going to catch it, but just to like get rid of it, and so he can like go to the bathroom so I can go on about my day. And I'm looking at him like, you sleep in a freaking like what's like one of them expensive dog beds,
Yeah.
It's like
Tempur-Pedic dog bed.
It really is. I think it really is. And she every time she goes to Ross, they have like a little dog section. It's always a new toy, a new leash, a new collar, a new something. And I'm like,
his dog is Gucci'd out. I guarantee.
Oh my gosh.
And Brian, you're absolutely right. Keith, he would try, but it wouldn't look right, him riding a crotch rocket in those skinny jeans. He would try,
I don't think I would look like a clown in a circus on a sport bike, They're not my size.
Oh, no, we put you on a big boy.
I want to know because I know a lot of people are on here watching you. You got all those friends and family on here.
It's my 29 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, your 29 followers are on here. I want to know about this YouTube channel you want to start.
Okay, so
let's talk about it. I know you wanted to ask me some questions.
I want to know,
Here's your chance. But first, you got to talk about this YouTube channel you want to do because I'm a big believer in, and Biz will back this up, man, this started out as like a hobby / passion because I tried to write a blog. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I did a couple podcasts.
More than like 10 words.
Yeah, man. Like I almost have that Wiley education. Like I can't do it.
Easy. You're gonna get Amanda fired up.
So no, I was too critical of my writing. But when I did a couple podcasts, I was like, "Yo, I like this. I like this format. Let's just sit and talk and see what people can learn from it, and hopefully some people enjoy it and can take something from it."
Yeah.
And that's why I did it. But the biggest thing was, and Biz will even tell you, like, I started forming a plan, and I talked to people that did it, and I thought I kind of knew how social media worked.
Yeah.
Bro,
no.
I still don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah.
There's a reason these millennials have, like, college degrees in this shit. Like, it's so hard to keep up with it and all the... You need to post reels and shorts and this and that. And like, I'm still not doing TikTok. Like, I don't give a shit what anybody says. I'm not doing the TikTok thing. You will never see Common Sense the podcast on TikTok. Like, I'm not doing it. I refuse. I know it draws a lot, but like, I'm not doing it. Like, their privacy policies and everything else, like, I'm absolutely against. You want to know how I feel about it? Go watch the Joe Rogan podcast. He reads the fucking contract for like an hour and a half. I'm out. Like, I'm not doing that. Everything else, like, y'all can catch me on it. Sometimes it's hard to support some of these social media platforms and stuff like that. And YouTube, I'm just going to tell you before you tell me your story, YouTube is the hardest. YouTube, if you're doing short content, they really like you. You do long content like I do, like 2 hours.
Yeah, I was wondering how that all works.
Like they don't like that.
They like that 15 minute.
They want short,
run.
man. Like, people want to see 5-minute clips. Biz works on those. Biz is dropping all our reels and short stuff on YouTube, and he's doing all that smaller stuff because that's what they want to see. I gotta pay to have 5-minute, 2-minute reels pulled from, take the funniest parts of you and I busting each other's balls.
Right.
Put on here, because if they just tune in the middle, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They want to see the 2-minute clip, hit, instant, boom, gratification. that's what this world is today. It's instant gratification.
Well, yeah, like this lane you're in, I don't understand it because it's like a 2-hour, episode. Yeah. But it's like, okay, well, yeah, there's like Joe Rogan, right? You mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got Ric Flair on. It's like, I'm not Ric Flair,
No, but you know what? That's funny. And I talk about this sometimes. The only like trolling or shit talking I've got, like from like random ass messages and stuff, is people telling me like that I think I'm Joe Rogan.
Really?
Like, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Really, like, and I've put this out there before, if I put up my top 5 list of like guests I would want to have on and sit and do this with,
he'd be on there.
Without any sponsorships, anything like that, like Joe Rogan is number 1.
Yeah.
Like, I will smoke a blunt with Joe Rogan on here and like just have a podcast. Like, that's number 1.
Yeah.
Then you can add Aubrey Marcus, Tim Ferriss, Jocko Willnick, other podcasters that I really look up to and think are good. Bert Kreischer, like Two Bears, One Cave. Like, yeah, I'm in on all that. Like, that is dope.
Yeah.
So when you shit talk me and you tell me like I'm trying to be like, yeah, absolutely. Do you know how many followers those dudes have?
Yeah, it's crazy.
They have millions of followers.
Way more than my 29.
So, yeah, and way more than my 113 on YouTube.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, that shit is funny.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you're going to shit talk me?
Yeah, right.
Like, anybody that's watched my podcast knows, like, I will cut up Play the Dirty Dozens with you all day long.
Yeah.
If I don't shit talk you a little bit, I probably don't like you.
Right.
Like, that's kind of my personality. Like, I like to josh. I like to banter. I like to...
Yeah.
Let's have fun. Like, life is short.
Yeah.
Like, we've talked about that a lot tonight.
Right.
Life is fucking short.
Right.
Have fun. Bust each other's balls. Have a good time. Like... That's what it's all about, man. Like having good conversation and just doing those things.
Oh yeah. No.
So tell us about this YouTube channel because I think you on YouTube would be golden.
I just get on these little kicks where I see
like
some people
instant post.
Yeah.
Keith Powers. Kenny Powers coming to you live.
Yeah, Kenny Powers and Keystone, all the good names, from all these fun different things that you're talking about. But yeah, I get on these kicks where I'll find some people on YouTube and subscribe and do all the things to help them, and it's like content that I can get into, people that I feel like I could hang out with, or maybe not people I could hang out with, but I just like admire what they're doing. Like, man, they're doing this, like this is their thing, like they're doing this on the daily. But the drawback is I don't know how to do everything that man's doing over there and what all's going on over there.
That's in my marriage.
So
I'm telling you right now, bro. Like, so you decide to do any of this? Hire somebody like Biz.
Yeah.
Like, do that. Like,
I keep telling my brother,
get you a sidekick like Biz because
that's my brother.
If I'd have bought all this shit, my wife would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?
You lost your mind.
Like, you lost your mind. Like, you don't even know how to work half this shit. You ain't putting all that out there.
That's
like,
me.
What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nope. Well, I'm gonna just, I got my man on the 1s and 2s over there."
Well, with my brother and I, we did a project boat. We took it from literally it was going to the graveyard, and we refurbished it. And
this means I need to click back over to YouTube because I'm sure Sean has something to say.
I'm sure
this.
He does. But we had, we still were doing updates just for our own fun and send out to the family. We're like doing this whole thing, and then when the kids come over, my niece, she was like, "I want to be a YouTuber," and so we would find these opportunities like, "Hey, let's do this. We're gonna shoot a YouTube video," and we just run some video and just have fun with it and just take stupid stuff, and just go with it. You remember James? He and
James is a cool dude. I like James.
So we would
James. I'm shocked you're not on here. I was expecting some good little.
He's not the social media guy either, but he and I started doing these short clips back and forth just when we do random things. It started off on a hunting trip where we went on this horrible dove hunt with no birds. And
you been on one of those?
Oh man! Next thing you know, we're shooting spiders. So then we spun this up.
Dragonflies?
No, we're the East Texas Guided Spider Service Company. So we would do these shoots, and man, we have like some gold quality video of us shooting spiders and just talking them up. Like we're selling these hunts for trophy deer, but it's all spiders, and we name them, just oddball names.
You're gonna love this. So I took Sarah, and anybody that's met my wife knows this is like not. Huh?
You took her hunting?
Yes.
Is this where this is going?
Yes.
I don't see that.
I took my wife.
Was it like
to
a resort?
one of my first high fence ranches.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's kind of this is a guy with money.
No.
Me.
It was a company trip, marketing.
I've never even seen the inside of one. I've seen the outside of them. I've never seen inside.
So
of one.
I took my wife to one of these. Right, it's one of my buddies owns this ranch out in Lampasas. It's awesome ranch. I highly recommend it. Twin Mountain. I'll give it some props. Although he should be sponsoring this, I think. Like maybe if I'm talking about Twin Mountain.
I think he should sponsor us there.
Yeah, us hunting, maybe. Anyways, so we go out hunting, right? And I got my good buddy Jackie, right? So Jackie's kind of like, he knows the owner real well. He comes down, and I request him to kind of like be my guide. And I take Sarah
He's
out.
met you before?
Oh, it's one of my good buddies.
Okay.
This is like you. Him and I would be doing the same thing.
He's got so many good buddies.
You're going to love this story. So we go out, man, and we're sitting in the blind, and it's like early afternoon, right? And it's prime rut, right? And we're sitting in the blind, and all of a sudden, man, like when you're on a high fence ranch with like a lot of different shit, you never know what's going to come out. But like the bucks came out, young bucks, old bucks, and the does are everywhere. And these bucks are like getting after these does. Like it is prime rut.
It's like it's happening.
So it's happening. Mm-hmm. It's happening. And Jackie and I start rapping. We start 90s rapping. And we start making soundtracks to these bucks, like going after these does. And I mean, like, pick the best Montel Jordan, salt and pepper, you name it. We're getting it in there, and we're making these rap. If someone had video recorded this, it would be the greatest remix.
So are y'all
if
in like a conditioned box
videos,
where it's like heated and all this?
No.
Okay.
We're in a shitty deer
Really?
blind.
Where's Sarah coming to this story?
She's sitting right between us.
Is she laying down
like
the beat?
Jackie's over there, and she's laughing. She's like, "Is this really what you guys do when you're out hunting?" I'm like, "Yes, this is exactly what we do."
Complete idiots.
And like, here comes this fucking like badass like young buck on this doe, and like there's 3 of them, and he's like trying to pick which one, and I'm over there like, my mind's telling me no, but my body.
I was so hoping you would go there.
Yeah. Like we are R. Kelly and mixing it up. Like, I mean, like, dude, it was absolute greatness. And Sarah's like, if this is what it's like, I'm in. Like,
no, she's probably like, you can go hunting a lot more now. I know what you idiots do. I have no
know
concerns.
what you idiots are doing. You're sitting here drinking out of a flask. You're watching.
My only
deer.
concern is that you taking ammo with you.
Yeah, you're walking around, sitting in the deer blind, and these deer are doing crazy things, and you guys are in here battle rapping.
I've never done battle rapping in a deer blind, but I have come up with some crazy ideas because you just sit out there, when you're by yourself, and man, you just have these stupid thoughts. But that's pretty funny. No, I thought you were going somewhere else completely different.
No, I mean, like, it was so great because Sarah was just like, "This is really what you guys do," and I'm like, "Yeah, we smoke cigars, smoke cigarettes." She's like, "Isn't that bad for like scent?" I'm like, we're up in a fucking tree blind, like way up here. They're 300 yards out there. Yeah. If that, like, I've had worse things wreck my hunt. Like, but like, even when we duck hunted, so back to his dog that bird hunts, this is the funniest thing ever. And like, this didn't directly apply to you, but it kind of did. When we did that river, Oklahoma.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And we went up there on the airboats.
Yeah, I've talked about that story before.
So when you're sitting with like 6-8 guys and they're all like, "Yeah, I shot that. Yeah, I shot that. Yeah, that's my bird. That's my bird." And you're kind of like, "Dude, they were all over here. You're way over there." Like, you really
didn't matter. I pulled the trigger.
Yeah, I pulled the trigger. So this happened on like 2 trips back to back to me. And one of my estimators at the time, John Mairo, I hope he watches this or listens to this at some point. It was so funny because we had gone to Lubbock and done our crane hunt.
Yeah, I missed that trip.
And we did that. You need to get on it with us this year. You got to do that again.
We were just talking about that.
But anyways, so we're doing this bird hunt. And the last time I was like, I don't eat a lot of duck. I'll take it to my subs and they'll make me badass like tacos and stuff. But I give most of it away. Yeah. So like the first time I was like, all right, fine. Yeah, just take it. I don't want to take anything home. I don't want to clean anything. I don't want to deal with it. Second time, same thing again. They're divvying up birds. Like, how many did you shoot? How many did you shoot? And I'm like, y'all are full of shit. I was like, all right. So the next time I was like, all right, I got you. So I took my goose load with me, bro. Like, I put goose load in. We're duck hunting. So these birds come out, and we had this shitty caller. He
cut them in half.
Like the birds are coming in, and they're just about to lock up, and right when they lock up, he won't get off the call. So he calls on it. They start flaring. Well, I'm like, all right, fuck it, bam, 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 bam. Man, I hit one so hard he turned upside down. 1 week mint flopping. It rained feathers on us for like 10 minutes while this bird slowly propelled upside down out in front of us. We get done, and I'm like, I've gone through like 3 boxes of shells, and we're pretty close to limit between like the 8 of us. And I'm like, I guarantee I shot the majority of these birds. And we get back to the truck, everybody's sorting out the birds and everything. It's like, how many did you shoot? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. Like, whatever you all feel is fair, like, just give me those. I'm going to take them to my sub anyways to make me tamales or tacos.
Right.
They take the majority of the birds. I get home. Granted, they had to drive to Euless.
There's not much left.
They call me, and he goes, hey, man, what the fuck were you shooting with? I was like, why? Why do you ask? He goes, man, I'm cleaning these birds. He goes, 90% of them have a hole this big through the breast. And I'm like,
left of them?
What do you mean? He goes, no, like, seriously, look. He starts sending me pictures. He's like,
you're shooting like 3.5 BBs or what?
I'm shooting like 75 snow goose load.
Golly.
And like, I'm blasting these birds. He's like, yeah, man, we're like picking meat off the bone here. And I'm like, oh, so how many did you guys shoot?
You're right.
And he's like, oh, well, I was like, yeah. Next time, just a little more respect for like the shot. Like, you idiots. Yeah, it was a good time.
Well, you'd ask me my YouTube channel name. Just because I'm not good at like just like one, I was like okay in a bunch of little things, right?
Yeah.
So when we shoot our little video clips just for fun, I decided that my channel name should be called "That's Handy."
James is too.
And that's my tagline, because everything it's like, man, that's handy. Like, I didn't know that. It's like, somebody asks you to help them, and you go over there and you see them kind of going down the wrong way, and you're like, offer them a recommendation. They're like, man, that's handy. I didn't know that. And it's like all these things that I learned and things that my dad taught us. And it was like, they're like, man, you know how to fix a car. You know how to do this. You know how to do that. It was like, well, he didn't have a choice because they were broke. So it's either not have it or figure it out. Yeah. And so we talk about that a lot, that we probably take that for granted, that, because then, as you get older, you start getting around other people and you're like, you don't know how to change brakes. You don't know how to take it all to this guy and he fixes. I give him money and he fixes. It's like, well, we didn't have that money to give. So, learn all this stuff. So I thought, man, how cool would it be? Like, just little things, it's like you find people that'll shoot these videos, and throw them out there. And, it's like, man, if you just had like a well-edited, good quality camera, good sound, somebody knew what they're doing on the back end of that, cutting it down. I'm like, I think that thing would go, man. I mean, you think about the skills, like we were talking earlier about the trades. And this new generation, it's they don't know how to do that kind of stuff. So that was my idea. They wanted to know what my channel name would be. It's called "That's Handy." And that would be my tagline, man.
Dude,
everything.
Get it. Lock that down.
I think is it okay if we just say we're locking it down right now? Nobody else can take it. We can
I feel like you still have the time to lock it down. All right. So we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna go towards the end of the show here. You will be back on. We're going to do a part 2 to this at some point in time.
Yeah.
But Now I got to ask you the two serious questions.
Uh-oh.
So, round one. If you had one piece of advice you could leave your kids right now, like, God forbid, let's just say you don't make it home tonight, whatever.
I don't like where the story's going.
I'm not like giving you the juju, but like, if you had one piece of advice you could live in, like, this is your last dying words, like, what piece of advice would you leave your children?
I think at this stage of my life where I'm still trying to figure it out myself, I think just be kind, I really feel like, that's where I'm at, where like still struggle with anger and still struggle with certain things. And I think that would probably be it. Just be kind, because that's what, I try to find that myself. And I know that's pretty simple. No, it sounds easy, excellent. but I think that would be it. It's just like, be kind, Yeah. It's like, you find yourself and, just driving down the road and you see so many angry people. And it's like, I find myself being angry at times for like road rage and traffic. It's like, and just freaking relax, be kind. Yeah. And I think, that would probably be it. It's like, that would be it.
You never know what the other person's dealing with.
That's so true, man. When you stop and you think about it, and I find myself in that situation a lot of times within the business, it's like, hey, did you ask all the right questions? Because just like you said, you don't know what the other person's got on their plate. And a lot of times when you ask those questions, you find out a lot about that, and you go, dang, I recently had that happen to me. I didn't know all the circumstances and didn't know what to deal with. And after we, dust had settled and we had to go back and, fix the problem, it was like, I didn't know that they were dealing with something. And I was just like, man, dude, if you just stop and just be kind, and like I said, I'm not living that, 100%, but I would like to. So I think, put me on the spot, man. You could have gave me a heads up on that, dude.
Hey, man, you could watch the show. These questions get asked at the end of every show, bro.
I need to. I'm guilty,
Yeah, you got to subscribe. You can subscribe.
I did subscribe.
I'll follow you too. I'll be your 30th follower.
Man. That's big time, man. I don't know if I can handle that, man. You shut the internet down.
Yeah. All right.
That's my one.
All right. I like that. That's a great answer, man. Like, that's really solid. Like, that's good.
Hopefully I get you some more likes and followers on your channel.
Yeah. Let's do it. All right. So last question. And this can be anything you want it to be. This could be something that's been weighing on you. This could be something you're inspired from tonight that just comes to your head. This could be, whatever. Like, this isn't premeditated.
Look, I'm getting all prepared.
Yeah. This isn't premeditated. This isn't like anything big. Like, it's just, so the show is called Common Sense, right? So we share our common knowledge to provide others with common knowledge, right? So you get to give your 2 cents.
Okay,
I like that. You can give your 2 cents about whatever you would like to give it about. I mean, you could talk about bedazzling jeans. You could talk about Florida Georgia Line. You could literally go wherever you would like with this, and you can just share some knowledge with all the people that are tuned in.
Well, so one of the things that one of my mentors that I meet with, and I wish that we could meet more on a regular basis, but this guy kind of came into my life through business, and then just our back end and how he knew Amanda and the boys, and before Amanda and I were a thing. I meet with him, and he challenges me. He really checks me. a lot. And so I walk away from there a lot of times just going, wow, I just never thought about it that way. Or he gives me projects to work on and try to just make me better, just as a person.
As a human, as a person.
Yeah. And so one of the podcasts that he turned me on to that comes out once a month and I listen to, one of the things that has resonated with me recently, and I'm really trying to apply that, is that successful people do regularly what non-successful people do occasionally. So I'm butchering how he says it flows a lot smoother, but I'm trying to apply that in my day-to-day.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be business, right? It can be relationship-wise with your spouse or relationships with other members or family, but successful people do regularly what others do occasionally. And when you think about that, you're just like, okay, that's hard to do. You know, it's like you can find ways to complain all the time.
Yeah.
That's easy to do, right?
Yeah.
But to figure out things that you need to improve on, or you look at somebody and go, man, look at what he's got. Well, he didn't.
Do you know the story?
Huh?
Do you know the story?
No.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, you don't know what it took for him to get there.
Yeah. So it's like you can look and go, well, man, look at Garrett. Look what he's doing. It's like, no, he's doing that on a consistent basis. Like he's doing that. That's a regular routine now. And so to get that success, you don't just do it every once in a while. You know, it's just like with, you know, sports talk, right? You know, practice makes perfect. It's like, no, you know, doing that on a regular basis, like really putting yourself out there, that brings it to the point where that's now a regular thing, and you're successful at that.
Yeah.
So that would be my
having
thing.
habits. I think like being habitual about things to put yourself in the right situation.
Yeah.
Being habitual, surrounding yourself by people that are better than you.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's something you and I have both done in our life and through our career, that we're not the smartest motherfuckers.
No.
Like, no. I mean, we'll both adamantly sit here and admit that. Like, but we've put ourselves around some really amazing people that have like helped us along the way.
Yeah.
And really put us there. And I think what you just said is absolutely on point. Mm-hmm. Do what others won't do. Go that extra mile. You know, if you consistently do X, you're going to get results at some point.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you got to do those things.
Yeah. Well, you said 2 cents, so that's one. The other statement that always stuck with me that he told me was, you know, people, they'll say, knowledge is power. And he would always stop and say, no, applied knowledge is power. You can have the knowledge, but that doesn't do you any good if you don't apply it.
Yeah.
So those two things are what I'll leave it with.
Absolutely, man. Like that's not gold.
And you know what? To him.
I'm going to give you credit. You're the first person to actually give 2 cents.
Yeah.
Not 1 cent.
Yeah.
Because most people give 1 cent.
Yeah, no, I
just gave 2 cents.
I gave my 2 for sure. So
man,
I had a great time, man. I can't believe that it just flew by. How many people say that when they come on here? Because I was like, 2 hours, man. We're 30 minutes into it. We're gonna go.
Hey, bro. I mean, like we started like 15 minutes late, but like you legit went the full 2 hours. Like legit went the 2 full hours. Like,
I feel like we could pick on each other for another 2.
Oh, we could do that for sure, man. But you know what? We got to leave them something for episode 2.
I'm telling you, man. We can't
we're
going to
run it back. We'll run it back.
I like it.
But hey, man, thank you so much for coming on here. Thank you for sharing the stories, man. Like, I know a lot of what you shared isn't easy to share.
Yeah.
And again, I really admire how you've handled your life and all the things that have come up in your life.
I appreciate that.
Like, because most that would bitch about their lives haven't been through half of what you've been through.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
you know what? Like, that speaks volumes to you and your character, man. And like, you're one of my really good friends. And like, we don't hang out near enough, but like, man, like, I really appreciate you coming on here. I mean, I busted your balls. Like, I was like, are you really going to show up?
Yeah.
Are you going to come do this?
I'm like, you had no idea. But Garrett, I was born for this, man.
I was born for this.
What are you talking about?
Let's do this.
Oh, man.
So, I appreciate all of you that tuned in tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We're going to be back with another great one next week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe, follow, share if you guys are enjoying this. If you'd like to sponsor the show, please hit me up in the inbox, message me. We are taking that. There is going to be, as you guys have known, I've talked about this for a little while, but it's about to happen. The music part is coming into this. It's probably going to be once a month. I have a meeting in less than a week and a half that is going to be adding a platform where we're going to be subscription based too. Subscription based will give you access to some things that the people that just buy tickets to see the show, great, please, we welcome you, enjoy the show. But as these bands grow, we're bringing some big names on here. And when that starts happening, you're going to want to be a subscriber because it's going to get you exclusive access to VIP chats where you can submit questions when we sit down with these bands and we're doing what Keith and I are doing right here, talking. They're going to be sitting here. We're going to be cutting it up. So any of you that are of our generations,
Yeah,
any of you that are of that, like you remember MTV Unplugged, we are bringing that back. Like,
I saw that one you did. That's awesome.
yeah, man. Like we're gonna be bringing that back. There's gonna be bands on here that you didn't think you could hear raw like that in the studio live, cutting it up like that. And we're gonna have conversations like this. We're gonna sit down and have drinks. We're gonna have a cigar. For those guys that want to do that, like, that's gonna be part of what you subscribe to and get to be a part of. It's gonna blow up. I have no doubt about that. So get in while you can. And for those of you that follow us regularly, I really appreciate you guys following us. And until next week, biz is out. Safe trip to Aruba, my friend. I know you're about to be traveling.
Yeah, and same to you, sir.
Yeah. Big 60th birthday party for a good
That's what
friend.
money looks like right here.
Yeah.
International
So
travelers.
we'll see you guys back on the 30th. And peace.